I was, I suppose, 13 years old. Otherwise, why should I have been there, in secret, on the dark croquet lawn? I could hear the rabbit moving behind me, munching the grass in his hutch. An immense building with small windows, rather like Keble College, bounded the lawn. It was the school. From somewhere behind it, from across the quad, came a faint sound of music. Saturday night, the school orchestra was playing Mendelssohn. I was alone in mournful happiness in the dark. Two countries just here lay side by side. From the croquet lawn, from the raspberry canes, from the greenhouse and the tennis lawn, you could always see, dominatingly, the great square Victorian buildings of garish brick. They looked down like skyscrapers on a small green countryside where the fruit trees grew and the rabbits munched. You had to step carefully. The border was close beside your gravel path. From my mother's bedroom window, where she had borne the youngest of us, to the sound of school chatter and the disciplinary bell, you looked straight down into the quad, where the hall and the chapel and the classrooms stood. If you pushed open a green baize door in a passage by my father's study, you entered another passage deceptively similar, but nonetheless you were on alien ground. There would be a slight smell of iodine from the matron's room, of damp towels from the changing rooms, of ink everywhere. Shut the door behind you again, and the world smelt differently, books and fruit and eau de cologne. I was an inhabitant of both countries. On Saturday and Sunday afternoons, of one side of the baize door, the rest of the week of the other. How can life on a border be other than restless? You are pulled by different ties of hate and love. For hate is quite as powerful a tie. It demands allegiance. In the land of the skyscrapers, of stone stairs and cracked bells ringing early, one was aware of fear and hate, a kind of lawlessness. Appalling cruelties could be practiced without a second thought. One met for the first time characters, adult and adolescent, who bore about them the genuine quality of evil. There was Colifax, who practiced torments with dividers. Mr. Crandon, with 3 grim chins, a dusty gown, a kind of demoniac sensuality. From these heights, evil declined towards Parlow, whose desk was filled with minute photographs, advertisements of art photos. Hell lay about them in their infancy. There lay the horror and the fascination. I escaped surreptitiously for an hour at a time, unknown to frontier guards. I stood on the wrong side of the border, looking back. I should have been listening to Mendelssohn, but instead I heard the rabbit restlessly cropping near the croquet hoops. It was an hour of release, and also an hour of prayer. One became aware of God with an intensity. Time hung suspended, music lay on the air. Anything might happen before it became necessary to join the crowd across the border. There was no inevitability anywhere. Faith was almost great enough to move mountains. The great buildings rocked in the darkness. And so faith came to me, shapelessly, without dogma, a presence above a croquet lawn, something associated with violence, cruelty, evil across the way. I began to believe in heaven because I believed in hell. But for a long while, it was only hell I could picture with a certain intimacy. The pitch-pine partitions of dormitories, where everybody was never quiet at the same time. Lavatories without locks. There, by reason of the great number of the damned, the prisoners are heaped together in their awful prison. Walks in pairs up the suburban roads. No solitude anywhere, at any time. The Anglican Church could not supply the same intimate symbols for heaven. Only a big brass eagle, an organ voluntary, Lord dismiss us with thy blessing, the quiet croquet lawn where I had no business, the rabbit, and the distant music.